Well, 40 years ago, racing fans witnessed something extraordinary. Seattle Slew in the 1977 Belmont Stakes became the only undefeated Triple Crown winner in history. His spirit lives on with the Seattle Slew Stakes, and there are several pedigrees that can be traced back to the racing legend in today's feature. One of them is Conquest Windy City. And if you want to find success in this game, look no farther than Ken Ramsey. He has an unbridled passion for the sport that spans from owning to gambling and even breeding. And one of his homebreds today, Camelot Kitten, will go postward later. As he seeks a victory in only his second race this year, he was a 4-time graded stakes winner at 3, and will look to take that step forward today in his 4-year-old season. Oh, welcome back to Belmont Park Live, presented by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual unusually well. And once again, it's a glorious day here at Belmont Park, and we've got a wonderful weekend lined up. Of course, it is opening weekend. All the fans waving to us here. We've got some great races in the books, but we still have more to come as well. And of course, as usual, I'm Gabby Audette, joined by the New York Racing Association's Andy Serling, 4-time All-Star, Paul LaDuca. How's it going, gentlemen?
Been a long day, but going okay so far. Hopefully we can pick you some winners.
Longer for you than it has been for us, but It's nice to be at Belmont. It's the tale of two Belmonts. It's beautiful and sunny in the backyard, and it's beautiful out here, but a little bit breezy out front, as you're discovering.
Yeah. Absolutely. It gets a little breezy up here on the set, doesn't it? Well, speaking of that, we'll take a look at the weather and track conditions as we head out to the course here, and we are fast and firm. We're sunny. It's a little breezy, and we're getting into the 70s here this afternoon. We'll take a look at the lineup here. We'll be showing you all of these races coming up today. And we start with the 6th race. We'll be showing you that momentarily. This is a nice maiden special weight for 3-year-olds and up. That's on the turf course, followed by an allowance race. Of course, our featured race of the day is the Seattle Slew. That's race 8. And we'll be bringing you some action from Kentucky Downs as well. So looking forward to that. Got a lot of action and racing lined up today. All right, well, before we get into today's racing, wanted to remind everybody you can start betting from home with a new Naira Bets account. Join today and earn a $100 new member sign-up bonus when you enter live at sign-up. Getting the bonus is easy. Just bet $100 in 14 days and you'll get $100. Go to nairabets.com for more information on that. And as promised, guys, we start things off with the 6th race, and we see the number 1 Wake Island for Chad Brown opening up as your 7-5 heavy favorite.
It wouldn't be a turf race here unless there was at least one horse being overbet trained by Chad Brown.
It is true, right? And you know what? This starts the Naira Pick 5, by the way. And I don't, this horse should be the favorite, but I think the public has it somewhat right with Fashion Week and then Dream Passes, because Dream Passes here in the 8 is the speed. We just got to find out if she's good enough.
Well, we do, if she's facing open horses. But the thing with Wake Island, the favorite, you just wonder with a Chad Brown horse that's had a number of chances at short prices and failed, do you want to keep going back to it?
Yeah, I get that. But then you look what she's lost to. She's lost to a late. She's lost to Durable Goods. 2 very good fillies, obviously a late winning a giant race up at Saratoga. So then maybe you excuse her. But then do you excuse her for losing to Warrior Hall?
Well, that's the thing. She finds somebody to lose to all the time. Now, this is up in Saratoga. And to be fair, she did run well in this race. As you pointed out, she lost to Durable Goods, who's a talented runner who finished 3rd in a subsequent start. And she was close enough to a fast pace set by Elude, who's going out in this race, that she ran well in there, and it was off a layoff. My point is, I just feel like I always kind of want to bet against her. She's had her chances, and she just doesn't get the job done. She might win today, but do you want her at 7-5?
No, you don't want her at 7-5. And I think when you look at that race, you got to look towards Fashion Week. She sort of exploded in between fillies. The other one in their length, I didn't see anything there. I really didn't with the 5. I don't know why the horse is getting bet. Maybe he'll improve in she will improve in her second start.
Is a Claiborne horse putting blinkers on?
Yes.
Well, we'll see what happens. And the 6th Fashion Week also comes out of the same race, guys.
You know, you like Fashion Week more than I do, Paul, and maybe I'm just sort of bitter because I needed her for 3rd last time. I thought she just sort of saved ground and kind of clunked up when the race was over in the fast pace. You like her more than I do.
I do understand what you're saying there. The reason why I do I think it took her a little while to go between horses when you looked at that replay. And then when she got through, she went. So maybe there's the reasoning behind putting the blinkers on, and maybe she'll show a tiny bit more speed because she's going to have to. She's going to can't be be too far back with a lack of pace.
She has a giant pedigree. Her dam was a very talented runner and a good turf horse, and a half to Stevie Wonderboy as well, the Breeders' Cup Juvenile winner.
All right, well, there's a lot to like about the 6th Fashion Week, but for more, we go to a paddock report with Maggie Wolfendale, and that is brought to you by Shadwell Farm, building speed for the future. Maggie, what do you have for the 6th Fashion Week?
Well, that she could be a very good hunch bet as well, Gabby, as it is Fashion Week in Manhattan this week as well. And I talked to trainer Shug McGahee about putting blinkers on this filly for her 2nd start here on the turf. Now, she is one that tends to get away slow, but he said that because she ran fairly spotty in that first turf race, just kind of running in snatches, that he wanted to put a somewhat shorter type cup on her just to focus her in and get her running consistently here. So I like what I see from her. She's extremely fit as well, and I think that the blinkers on and 2nd time here on the lawn should help her. Moving on to outside runner in number 8, Dream Passage, who is 2nd off the layoff. Last time, you know, she just feels like a filly that is going to have to race into fitness, and I'm still not totally sure if she's 100% fit yet. She's definitely more so than what she was in that August 7th effort at the Spa, and I like her here because she's a Brian Lynch trainee, and his horses just always come over well turned out. So I think we'll see an improved effort. It's just a question of, will it be a winning one? Though you're getting a decent price on her. Next, we'll check in with a 2nd-time starter that's also adding blinkers here for Belmont. Now, she's acting up a little bit while saddled, but she was pretty quiet here before that. Now, I have not seen what blinkers they're going to add to her here today. I think they're hanging up there. I think it's just a short cup on her as well. But this is a filly that's just really physically well suited to the condition. She looks like a filly that wants to run longer, if not more than this here, a mile and a 16th. And I think with the blinkers on, she should be a little more involved. At least I would hope so. I mean, she just really offered little in that debut, but she looks the part here in the paddock, guys.
Thanks very much, Maggie, for that paddock report there. And, well, of course, this race 6, does kick off that Naira Betts late pick 5. And, of course, that's happening at Belmont on the weekends during the month of September. Paul, how did you strategize the sequence today?
Well, I thought it was a difficult sequence. You got to take a stand somewhere. I'm going to go 3 deep in here. I thought Wake Island, 4 deep. 1, 3, 6, and 8. I'm going to space out my ticket. I didn't see any singles. 3, 11, and 12. If I'm going to throw another one in there, it is Majestic Bloom on the cutback. If the 3, it's in the stars, can get out of the gate, watch out. I think she's the one to beat in there. 2, 3. Conquest Windy City, another one you could single. And if you keep going, I'm going to go to the 5 and the 10 in the last. We won't be with you, but the real Creole hopefully is the real deal if I'm alive in the last.
All right, I like it. That's at Naira Betts. 50 cent late pick 5, races 6 through 10. There's a look at the ticket. We'll step aside in just a moment, but first, well, Ken Ramsey, he does it all. He's won multiple Eclipse Awards for outstanding owner and breeder, and he's hit a few pick 5s in his time. We'll have more on him later on.
Multiple Grade 1 winner First Samurai by Giants Causeway got off to a quick start at stud, siring Grade 1 winners in each of his first 3 crops. His talented son Lee captured the Grade 1 Don Handicap in record time and retired to stud with over $2.3 million in earnings. Sovereign Award nominee Stack Deck captured the Grade 3 Bold Venture Stakes and Grade 2 Kennedy Road Stakes, both just to tick off track record times. First Samurai at Claiborne Farm.
Make Naira Betts your home for online horse racing and betting. Start earning your sign-up bonus right now. With Naira Betts, you can use our state-of-the-art website to bet on live horse racing at over 200 tracks around the world. Bet anywhere, anytime, using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Build your bankroll with our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up now at NairaBets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus now. Naira Betts, racing's best play.
You're watching Belmont Park live here as we're getting set and ready to bring you the 6th race on today's program, where it's a nice maiden special weight, heading out to the turf course at 1 1/16. And of course, we have your heavy favorite right now in the one Wake Island at 3-2. But Paul, I'll ask you this: do you think she's a little bit over bet right now?
Yeah, she's a tiny bit over bet. Like I said, she's ran into 2 very nice fillies. Obviously, Elate and then Durable Goods last time out. You know, does it warrant her favoritism? Yeah, but I also think Spy Gal could improve. The 3, they're looking at the 5. Length can improve. Fashion Week. In the 8, Dream Passage. You look at this race, there's not a lot of pace in here, so hopefully Dream Passage, you know, if you use that horse like Andy and I, this horse can get to the front and try to take him wire to wire.
You know, Gabby made a good point to me when I'm talking about that, and I agree with you. I'm obviously hoping she's speed. Elude showed incredible speed last time. Do you think, though, Elude coming off the layoff, that maybe they were using that race as a tightener, and that's why she showed such unusual speed?
Yeah, that's actually maybe a good point, because the best races are off the pace. But here's the deal. The Gulfstream and the Tampa turf races just have not transferred to New York. They didn't transfer to Saratoga. Maybe they'll transfer here, but maybe pieces. I just don't know if she can win the race.
Well, we don't know if she could win the race, but she could potentially be a thorn in the side of the other speed in the 8 Dream Passage.
A real question, too, is whether or not the 3 Spy Gal can get out of the gate, because she has compromised herself in both of her starts by getting left.
And the other horse is Fashion Week. 2 back showed a lot of pace on a dirt race. You mean,
what happened last time?
Nothing. Did not run early. Maybe the blinkers will help.
It'll be very interesting to find out, but we start the field with the one Wake Island, trained by Chad Brown, your heavy favorite at 3-2.
She is the horse to beat. She has the tactical speed to be well placed in this race, but she's also at her chances at short prices.
40-1 shot coming off a lengthy layoff for trainer Carlos Martin is the 2 Kusama.
Yeah, by far the longest horse on the board, but you got to look at the comment line in the first start. Mugged.
And there's a look at the 3 Spy Gal, trained by Barkley Tagg. A little bit of a troubled trip last time out, but taking money at 7-2.
Was arguably best last time, but she compromised herself at the start. She did, however, overcome some real difficulty to be second.
Tom Albatrani will send out Elude under the Godolphin Racing Silks here.
Showed improved speed last time and just sort of backed up in a better field, and she's going to have to improve today.
And the 5, a Claiborne Farm Homebred, trained by Belmont. Length.
The Belmont Park house horse. Belmont's horses will often improve dramatically in their second starts.
Here's a look at the 6 Fashion Week here, and trained by Shug McGahee, just coming out of the tunnel right there, but another one taking decent money at 4-1.
Yeah, blinkers on for the first time. She's a filly that I thought ran a little bit better when she ran through horses. That's maybe why Shug is putting the blinkers on, and Johnny V stays aboard.
And we have a filly making her North American debut, has experience in Germany and Italy, but today will be her first try in the United States.
She's run in 2 group races overseas. Won't find the competition as tough here. Does she want to go longer, though?
And the 8 Dream Passage does run out the field, trained by Brian Lynch. Could be the speed in here.
Yeah, the New York bred. I think she is the speed in here. If she runs to her race 2 back, she's a very good player in here. Last time she ran into a wicked early pace.
Well, that's the field here as we're going to be going postward for the 6th race. But looking at the 5 length here, second-time starter for trainer Bill Mott. This 3-year-old filly, of course, is by Warfront. This show is brought to you by Claiborne Farm, and Warfront is one of the many incredible stallions on the roster at Claiborne Farm. Of course, he is one of the top sires in the world, and this year alone, he sired 2 Grade 1 winners in American Patriot and Roly Poly. Overall, 6 of his foals have surpassed $1 million in earnings, so it's really no surprise that he's standing for $250,000 at Claiborne Farm. A beautiful, beautiful looking animal, and his progeny has been terrific.
Wish my hair looked like that.
Wish I had hair.
It's a good point. All right, guys. Well, back to the race here. The 3 Spy Gal. This 3-year-old filly, her second start she vastly improved, but unfortunately she had a little bit of a trouble trip.
Yeah, I mean, she was a horse that kind of needed her first start, and she ran like it. And she probably was best last time, But to be fair, part of her real problem was that she gets left. And you get left in these races. You know, that's the thing. You get left 3/4 of a length or a length like she did, but you end up finding yourself at the back of the pack, and you put yourself in a bad position in a race that didn't feature a lot of pace and was dominated towards the front end. She ended up with an impossible trip, and most of it was her own doing. Yes, she ran the best race, but for me, Paul, and I wonder where you stand this, I bet her last time. She was almost 10-1. Now she's 3-1 today. Do I really want to bet her back? I don't.
I get what you're saying there. I actually think she was best. I bet Remark that day. I got a little bit lucky. You could see when she got hit right-handed, wow, she exploded there late. I'm wondering if she wants this little bit of extra distance or even more. You know, that was her first time around 2 turns. Maybe she'll improve. And Barkley's horses take their time. She's a tough read.
She also is a horse that may be pace dependent, whereas the 8 is not. And when you run these dog-led races on the mile and a 16th and the inner turf course, speed is at a premium, because what happens is, because they take that sharp left so shortly after the gate, the paces end up being very slow, which is obviously going to favor horses towards the front and work against horses towards the back. And if Irad can get early position, either stalking somebody or hopefully clear the lead and back it down, the 8 might have a real advantage and the 3 might have a disadvantage.
The 8's got an advantage on this field. I think she looks tremendous on the racetrack. And the reason why is, if you go back and you look at the races, the turf races at Saratoga at the meet, it wasn't really what they went in the 6 furlong clip. Some horses went 110. Some horses went 111. But I'll tell you what, not a lot of horses went sub 23 and 1. Usually when they went that fast early, they didn't really go. So she got tested early. She's not going to go that fast today.
And she only lost by 2 3/4 lengths, coming off an 11-month layoff and going a wicked pace.
Well, we'll see how it all unfolds, but she is incredibly fast, and she'll probably employ that speed today. But for more on the field, specifically the 3 Spy Gal, we check in with Maggie.
And Gabby, Spy Gal in her 3rd career start, to me just looks the most fit I've ever seen her look as well. She's dappled head to toe. I do agree with what you guys were saying, that she needs to get out of the gate. I mean, that's her biggest problem. You know, it's not as if they've changed her blinkers or anything. I think they're just hoping that with racing experience that she learns to get out of there. She will have to. Next, we'll check in with the horse that, well, I know she's only run 4 times, but she's starting to earn the kind of denotion that she's a bit of a bridesmaid, and that is number 1, Wake Island, as she's run 3rd in her 4 career starts so far. Run 2nd 3 times in her 4 career starts so far. She looks fantastic, don't get me wrong, but something I noticed about her is that, you know, she gets to the end of the line, and when she starts to feel the whip, she starts swishing her tail, she starts swapping her lead, she just looks uncomfortable. She's a filly that she came in, she was kind of screaming, and that's not really typical of fillies or mares, you know, coming into the paddock. It's usually with the colts, and they kind of announce their presence. So, I don't know. I'm a little bit dubious of her at 6-5, but look, connections can certainly put her in the winner's circle, Gabby.
Thanks, Maggie. And of course, those connections. Chad Brown, he wins a lot of turf races, and when you have Javier Castellano in the saddle, it ups the ante even more.
It feels like in a complicated race, sometimes the public leans too hard on the logical type, whether it's a trainer or jockey combination. I just feel like Wake Island can easily win this race and should be favored, but shouldn't she be around 2-1?
2-1, I would say that, right around that area. 9-5, I'll give you, but
6-5,
not 6-5, and maybe the 3 shouldn't be, you know, 3-1 either, you know, because the horse does have gait issues.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's more spread out, and it's picking winners is about trying to find horses at fair value, not necessarily finding the likeliest winner.
All right, well, the money is continuing to pour in on the 1 Wake Island right now at 6-5, but potentially a vulnerable favorite. A competitive field goes into the gate here for the 6th race as we send it up to the New York Racing Association's Larry Comas for the load and call.
Last one to move into line. Here's Dream Passage and Ron Ortiz Jr. to take the outside stall. 6-5 still on Wake Island, breaking from the rail. They're all in line and ready for the start. They're off. Good beginning for Wake Island. Length on the outside is showing some speed too. And Length sent to the front today by Joel Rosario and will lead the way toward the backstretch. There goes Dream Passage up into 2nd on the outside to put some pressure on. Wake Island is 3rd, Elude is 4th, Spy Gal 5th, 5 from the front. On her inside, it's Kusama. At the back of the field are Fashion Week and Windjammer. 25.22 was the first quarter as they race on to the backstretch. And Length is the leader. On top by 3/4 of a length. On the outside, Dream Passage well off the rail, running along in second. Wake Island is third and 2.5 lengths from the front. Elude is fourth on the outside. Then it's Kusama, Spy Gal fifth, 6 lengths off the lead, just ahead of Fashion Week up the backstretch. And Windjammer continues to race at the back of the field, a 49.36 half mile. Length leads the way into the far turn. Dream Passage second. Wake Island is third, saving all the ground into the turn. 3.5 lengths to make up. Then Elude in fourth. Spy Gal gets going on the outside. It's going to take an outside run, but is putting it a bit now 3 wide on the turn. Fashion Week is next, and then comes Kusama and Windjammer. 3/4 in 112.93. They're coming to the top of the stretch. And it is Length taken on by Spy Gal. And these two with Length holding on to the lead and drifting in. Spy Gal second on the outside. Wake Island steadied briefly there and is third just in behind them. Spy Gal in Length. Spy Gal to the front. Length on the inside second. And then it's Wake Island in third, but it's Spy Gal. Spy Gal goes on to a 2-length lead. It's tight for second there. It was either Wake Island or Length in a photo, then Fashion Week and Windjammer in 143.25.
A third time's a charm for this 3-year-old filly. Spy Gal, trained by Barkley Tag, making that move from off the pace, and pretty impressive there.
You could also argue that the most important part was the start. She didn't get left today, so she didn't get compromised. But you know what? The 5 was controlling in the front end, and she ran well to be second here, the Claiborne Farm homebred, but Spy Gal just ran her down.
Yeah, it was a clever ride by Joel Rosario. He took everybody surprised by going to the front end. This little filly here by Speightstown, they got to be excited. She spun out on the turn with some kick here late.
And I'll say something else. Wake Island, she just missed getting second.
Yeah.
She had an inside trip. Yeah, she had alter corso in the stretch. But at the end of the day, she had a good trip, and she just feels like a favorite we can bet against the next time. And this is no sour grapes. Dream Passage was not winning this race, but she finished last. There's a lesson there. Send speed horses to the lead.
You can't go that fast. This is a horse that last time went 110, 111. They went almost about 115 today. That's about 18 lengths slower today.
More.
Well, sometimes when you go into a race with a strategy, as maybe that was the case with Irad Ortiz, that kind of goes by the wayside when a horse like the 5 lengths shows a lot of gate speed.
I understand that you get... you got to make an adjustment as you're going. They're good. Irad and Jose are great at making adjustments. That was one adjustment he should have made. Because here's the thing. Joel was not going to push the button if he went by him.
No,
early.
he would have let him go. You know what? Length would have probably beaten her anyway. It's not sour grapes. I'm not saying the 8 was going to win this race by any stretch of the imagination. The best horse won.
Well, there's a place photo there as we saw Length hold off Wake Island, and again a very impressive performance from the third horse there, or the winner in the number 3 Spy Gal. So we'll see what the future holds for this 3-year-old filly by Speightstown. All right, well, coming up next here is you're taking a look at Camelot Kitten. Is this a good spot for him? We'll take a look at his race later on today.
They're off.
Los Alamitos Racecourse congratulates all of the connections of Los Alamitos Derby winner West Coast for his sensational victory in the Grade 1 Travers Stakes at Saratoga. Since our first meet in 2014, many of the top stars in thoroughbred racing have raced at Los Alamitos. Who will be next? Join us for the Los Alamitos Fall Thoroughbred Meet. Opening day is Thursday, September 7th.
Welcome back to Belmont Park Live as we have race 6 in the books, and we'll be showing you that order finish momentarily. But of course, it was Spy Gal getting the victory, and experience pays off. Much more professional today.
Yeah, I mean, it just takes some time. And Barkley Tagg, as good a trainer as he is, just give him a little time, and the frustration eventually goes away.
Yeah,
hopefully.
True. Congratulations to his daughter Spite, sound by the aptitude mare, Pomerine. So congratulations there. And you're right. 1 for 3 lifetime. Here's a filly that was almost 50-1 first time out. She's really improved.
She is. She keeps on taking those steps forward and standing by with the winning trainer. Maggie?
Here with Barkley Tagg and the winning owners as well. Barkley, we'll start here with you and Spy Gal, a filly that was having trouble getting out of the gate, but today she just seemed as though she put it all together and came with that great late run.
Well, I asked the jock to see if they could just leave her alone in the gate or be very quiet with her, just remind her to be very quiet with her, because she likes to fuss. She's fussy, just fusses with her head. And I thought if we could just get her to not do that one time, she'd probably come out of the gate better, and it worked out. So.
Worked out very nicely today. And Harry and Eric, guys, you bought the Spy Gal for $80,000 at the Fasig-Tipton October sale. What was it about her that you like? Obviously, Spite sounded a very good influence.
This gentleman picks out all our horses. We know very little about conformation. Maybe a little about breeding, but when it comes to conformation, I'm lost. So.
Well, did you at least name her?
Yes, we combined to name her, right. That's correct.
It's a very clever name, playing on Spite Sound as well.
Yes, I hope so.
Well, guys, Harry and Eric, congratulations here with Spy Gal. Good to see you in the winner's circle, and Barkley, job well done.
Thank you very much.
All right, guys, back to you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Maggie. Well, it goes to show you that success and even naming horses, well, it's a team effort, isn't it?
Yeah, I think naming horses, I don't know, have you ever named any horses? It seems like it would be fun.
I got to name a couple horses, but just don't name them after your family. I named one after my father, and the thing couldn't run past me or you.
It is the kiss of death to name a horse after somebody in the family. Didn't you have a horse named after you, Gabby? It was like a disaster.
Actually, the opposite. I had a horse named after me named Gabby's Love, and she was very good. She became an incredible broodmare, too. The one named after my sister, not good. So that goes to show you. But, guys, as we transition here, we'll take a look at Ken Ramsey. And, of course, Ken and Sarah Ramsey have had success throughout the years. Roses in May being one of them, took them on a ride.
This was an incredible performance when he won the Whitney. And granted, Perfect Drift had a way of letting other horses win. Yeah. But he was involved in a wicked pace that day. I think they went 45 and change the half. And Rose in May was right in the teeth of it, and he still managed to hold on. He was quite a horse.
He really was quite a horse. And then their big horse, Gabby, was just something special to watch with that big white face. Man, he was pretty mover, too.
I think that's Magisterial finishing second for Coolmore. It may have been a heavy favorite, and he was an amazing 3-year-old. The same prop that had Shakespeare and Artie Schiller, and Kitten's Joy was the best of them. Arguably the best American-bred turf horse since Manila.
Yeah, he threw some good horses, obviously. And, I mean, that one Breeders' Cup, he still probably should have won against Powers Court and Better Talk Now. But, man, what a horse he was.
Absolutely. They've had success throughout the years. Well, Ken Ramsey is one of the most enthusiastic personalities in racing. And if you were to ask him where that enthusiasm is driven from, he'd probably sum it up with 2 words: horses and family.
He run off with you. Are you saying we could upset even money Charlie? Sounds good.
When it comes to horse racing, Ken Ramsey is all in. Owner.
He's named after my father.
Breeder.
Bodie Ramsey. This horse is by Bodymeister.
Gambler.
Bet $1,000 on it.
And lover of the game.
So this horse was actually bought for a dirt horse, but he ran so well that they decided to put him out on the turf up here again this time. It's a challenge, You're matching wits against everybody else. So I do my handicapping if I've got time, and I don't pay attention to the odds except for value. I never bet anything that's odds on. I mean, not a man alive can stay alive betting 3, 4, 5, 4 to 5. You can't do it. A $200 exact price, 270. I got a bunch of grandkids up here. They all expect to go home and win. So I look for value. And I usually try to play the exotics because that's where the big money is. That's why I play the pick 6, the pick 3, and especially like the pick 5 because the takeout's low.
In 2004, Roses in May showed the Ramseys the world.
Roses in May holding Choctaw Nation and Dynamo, and for Roses in May, it's Gallant
That was our first taste of international racing, to go to Dubai and pull that off, the world's richest race.
Those joyous moments are enhanced by his wife and family. And even more importantly, it was Rose's and May's 2004 victory in the Whitney Handicap that showed them their future summer home, Saratoga.
Roses and May in a spectacularly game performance to win by a nose.
It's not one of our favorite tracks. It is our favorite track. There's no other track that I would buy a house in the town just to go to the racetrack. Horse owner's dream. Great view. Sit here and talk to D. Wayne and Billy Mott and all the rest of the crew every morning. The atmosphere, the town, the very best racing, best trainers, the best jockeys. You go over there and they got the bands playing and the dancers dancing.
Ken and Sarah still make it to the races. However, their lives were forever changed in 2007.
She's, the love of my life, of course. We'll be celebrating we'll be flying home on our 59th wedding anniversary, September the 6th this year. We started out with zilch. We had a grand ride along the way, so we're kind of thankful for what we still have rather than, begrudge what we've lost. The stroke was devastating. Total life changer. We was used to traveling around, going all the places, so that's another reason why I'm kind of cutting back.
Smile like you got $100 to win on.
Got a lemon, we're trying to make lemonade out of it. You still going to races, got the TV, like backyard heaven here, sit here and watch them train every morning. It's enjoyable, right?
What an incredible story for both Ken and Sarah Ramsey, of course. Started from humble beginnings and now one of the top owners and breeders in the industry.
Just it was fun watching that. He's he's a fun guy.
He really is. And the thing also too, Sarah still comes to the races. He brings her all the time. And and one story I'll tell you before we go to break, he won a grade 1 at Keeneland, and within 30 seconds, he was running over to another camera to watch one of his maiden $32,000 claimers. That is a guy that just loves horse racing through and through.
He absolutely adores it. He loves breeding, owning, and, of course, gambling. And he'll have another one coming up later, and that is Camelot Kitten. He won 4 graded stakes last year. He'll see if he can continue the momentum later on.
Shadwell Farm, home to world-class stallions, presents 2 young stars. Mo Heyman, undefeated 2-year-old, multiple graded stakes winner at 2 and 3. A dazzling son of Tappet, winner of his first 5 career starts, 4 in graded stakes. Grade 1 winner, Tamarcuz, winner of the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. This son of Speightstown was a top international miler that earned over $1.8 million. Shadwell Farm, building speed for the future.
Change the way you watch racing forever with the new Naira Now app. Live racing in English or Spanish. From a variety of camera angles, race replays, talking horses, race analysis, and a multitude of on-demand content, all in high definition. Naira Now is available on many platforms, including iOS, Android, Roku, Chromecast, and more coming soon. Download Naira Now today, free in the App Store, and start watching the best racing like never before.
Undefeated.
back on Belmont Park Live as we are just about 12 minutes to post for race 7 in a competitive field at that. We have your current favorite, the number 3. It's in the Stars after a little bit of a troubled beginning last time out, but surely a wide open field here going postward as we are going to be giving you a paddock report. Of course, that paddock report is brought to you by Shadwell Farm, building speed for the future. Maggie, what do you have to say about the 4? Same kind of crazy.
That this is the best I've seen her look this year, Gabby. And maybe it's relative of her competition in here, as this is the second time she'll have blinkers on, just a short cut as she was wearing last time out. But she's a filly that I think is better at 6, best at 7. So she'll get back to that here. And she just, coat, flesh-wise, just as I said, this is the best here in 2017 that I've seen her appear. Moving on to one that also looks very good here in the paddock, and that's number 7, Majestic Bloom. She will turn back from that mile, 2-turn mile, to the 1-turn, 6 furlongs here. And she looks fantastic for George Weaver. You know, she was a reclaim by him, and yet 2 years ago that happened, and she's yet to win a race. Maybe it's today. I like what I'm seeing from her. She's nice and relaxed here in the paddock as well. So she's a bit of a, you know, kind of somewhat dicey proposition because she doesn't like to find the winner's circle. But then again, physically, love what I'm seeing from her. Gabby.
Thanks, Maggie. Yes, 1 for 13 on form is a 7, Majestic Bloom, but she's getting less distance. We'll talk about her a bit later on. But the 3, it's in the Stars, guys. She's the one that's getting bet, but she and the 11, Treat Her Like Star, both come out of the same race.
Yeah, and you know, one thing I'll say in these turf sprints, I don't need a horse that's short priced and I know is going to be coming from the back of the pack. Is that fair, Paul?
That's in every race. I mean, horses that run their races, I always call them upside down. They run from way back. They're the falsest favorites in the world. And the thing about the 3, it's in the Stars. Has she been the best filly in her last 2 starts? 100%. But she causes her own trouble. We'll show you last time on August 13th. She's best in this race, but she gets just caught right here, and she's going to be way back. And listen, Noble Freud took this field gate to wire.
Yeah, and Noble Freud, albeit against much better horses yesterday, was a complete no-show. She backed to the field, which doesn't compliment her. I don't think this was as strong a race. Now, she can win this race. She probably is the horse to beat. But it's one thing to take a horse like the 7, who figures to be back in the field.
Yes.
She's going to be 10-1. She's 8-1 right now. This horse is going to be in the 2-1 range. To me, you use her protectively. If you're playing the pick 4s, you played the pick 5, but I don't need her to win.
Gabby, I need to ask you a question. Is she flying home there, or is she just picking up the pieces?
Well, it's a good question. She obviously is a closing sprinter, and Andy and I were speaking about this earlier. Sometimes when a horse doesn't get out of the gate too well and they're a closing sprinter, the question is posed, does it impact them as much? What can you say about that?
Well, it has to. It has to impact their punch at the end of it, right? I mean, but sometimes when horses get left, they get a little lucky when they get the pace up front. As you see, the 3, we were just looking at the 12 earlier. But, yeah, I mean, maybe the punch or the steam gets taken out of her a little bit, but these sweeping turns are going to be a little longer. She gets left here, she's toast.
I'll put it this way, right. I don't want her if she gets left here at 2-1. Now, the 12-horse High Jingo is a difficult read because she beat a very weak field last time. Having said that, she sort of didn't know what she was doing. She got stay in the back of the pack. She was green in the stretch. I don't know if the rider lost the whip or he couldn't whip her, and she did get the job done. Now, you see with this stat that suggests that her horses don't move forward off their maiden wins, but if this horse is 5-6-1, I would have no problem betting her because she did win this race despite sort of being stupid in the stretch.
She was. I mean, she won on pure talent. It's pretty crazy how she won this race. She got steadied behind, and then what ends up happening is Paco's going to now sort of readjust now. Okay, the inside's not going to work. Outside, I got a ton of horse. Let's just go around all these horses. I mean, it was pretty dominant win to re-rally like that. You don't see a lot of horses that get stopped and then do this.
She's also it's almost like she doesn't even know what she's doing. She gets out there. I was wondering how well she was handling the turf. She's kind of lugging in a little bit. He's riding her. I couldn't tell. Does he have a whip? Does he did something there. He shook something up there. Then she lugged in.
And he stopped on her, I think.
But she does end up winning the race fairly easily. So you could say, well, if she gets more mature, she could easily improve. What if she's professional today?
Well, she's not mature in that race. And for the people that don't know what we're talking about, she's swapping back leads. She's all over the place. You're right. She's going to have to run a little bit better than that. But here's the thing. Her Beyer number moved completely up on turf, and that turf had a little cut in it. I think she likes the green.
And I think the turf courses are much fairer here than they were in Saratoga. They haven't been ridden on as much, and they got a little more rain down here.
We'll also see if she takes that step forward in terms of professionalism, if she shows more gate speed as well. But I wanted to remind everybody, if you're a Naira Bets customer and hit a trifecta anywhere on the Laurel card today, you'll split 500,000 Naira Bets points. This promotion is available every Friday in September. Check this out and all of the other daily promotions this month on NairaBets.com. You can take part in that as well. Well, we'll bring you the post-race, and we will dive back into the race momentarily. But of course, you do hear the call to post right now, and the 3, It's in the Stars, is your current favorite. But we start with a long shot, the one Given Fire for Jorge Abreu.
Well, second off a long laugh, and we saw Jorge Abreu win with a horse under similar circumstances yesterday. She looks to be forwardly placed.
And the 2, Rock Ave Road, sent out by Rodrigo Bilo. And in the saddle is Joel Rosario.
And gets the weight back on because the Bug Boy's been riding her before. But, you know, her races are not that bad for an 18-to-1 shot.
And the 3, It's in the Stars, your current favorite.
A horse to beat, but she does often come from the back of the pack.
We'll see how that works out. The 4, Same Kind of Crazy, trained by Bruce Brown and ridden by Kendrick Carmouche.
Showed more speed with the blinkers, but she's still going to have to improve to beat this group.
And scratch the 5 in here. We'll pick it up with the 6, Queen of Spades. Looks to be pretty quick.
Louis Reyes, the Bug Boy, ends up on this one, and you're right. She's going to probably be the speed of the speed in here at 18-to-1.
Well, George Weaver had a fantastic Saratoga meet, and he sends out the 7, Majestic Bloom, with Manny Franco in the saddle.
Good rider switch to Manny Franco on a horse that will appreciate, in all likelihood, the cut back in distance.
And the 8, Wanta Queen for Edward Barker, Andrew Arroyo, and the saddle, looking for back-to-back wins.
She hasn't run horrible in her last couple starts, and she prefers Belmont. Both of her wins are here.
Leo O'Brien sent out the 9, Tiffany's Freud, another one that could be forwardly placed.
Yeah, she probably will be forwardly placed in here. Her best race gives her an outside chance.
Discreet Image is sent out, a long shot right now at 24-to-1.
Another horse that's cutting back in distance, and maybe she can show some of that early speed she showed at age 2.
Treat Her Like Star, 1-2 starts back, trying to get back in the winner's circle for Gustavo Delgado.
Ran well behind a slow pace last time after being taken out of her game by getting left. Should be more forward.
High Jingo made the successful surface switch last time out, sent out by Terry Pompey at 5-to-1.
Yeah, this horse has got another big shot to repeat, but she's got to be a little bit more professional today from that outside slot.
We'll give you more of this race right after this break, but first, don't go anywhere. Coming up later today, we'll take a trip to the fields of Franklin, Kentucky to bring you racing from Kentucky Downs. We'll have more on that later on.
Undefeated in sprint competition, Eclipse champion Run Happy captured 3 Grade 1 victories and set blistering speed records at both Keeneland and Saratoga. In the Breeders' Cup Sprint, he dominated the world's fastest runners, going 6 furlongs in a record-breaking 108 and change. The only horse nominated for 3 Eclipse Awards, Run Happy was crowned champion male sprinter, all the while racing 100% drug-free. Champion, millionaire, record breaker, Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
You're watching Belmont Park Live as we're going to be bringing you race 7 in just a minute, and we'll dive back into the action here. A competitive field goes postward, a big field, guys, and the 11 Treat Her Like Star. Well, she had success 2 starts back at Saratoga and a troubled trip last time out.
So unfortunately, she's carrying the weight of both Paul and I in here, but she was taken out of her game. And you were talking about it, Gabby, and making a reasonable point with the 3. It's in the stars because she's a deep closer. But Treat Her Like a Star breaks a little slow and gets shuffled in the back of the pack. She's a horse that wants to be more forwardly placed, and I still think she ran well, especially considering how slow the early pace was.
Yeah, she ran great. She really did. I think the drop from 40 gave her some confidence, and we'll show you that race on July 26th. She sat a decent trip, but she was 4 wide. She was ridden like the best this day, and she got the job done. Queen of Spades right there in the middle, and she's just going to go on with this group. And we saw a couple other horses up at Saratoga drop for this 40 non-2 just to get a little confidence.
I'm going to play a devil's advocate, even though I picked her. I often worry about horses that improve up in Saratoga. They sometimes do so well in Saratoga, and they get back to Belmont Park, and they're just not as good. They love it up there, like a lot of people do.
But when you look at her PPs, I love 3-year-olds like this. If you look, she's a 45-to-1 shot at Kitten's Joy, first time on turf for Gustavo Delgado. Outruns her odds, does not run bad against Epping Forest. Fire Key, we know how good she is. She was running into good horses when she started her turf career. Now she's getting confidence. I think she's a player in here big time.
Those are very, very fair points and why she's my top choice in here. What about the 7 Majestic Bloom, a horse I know that Gabby likes?
Well, the 7 Majestic Bloom, of course, guys, this is a mare that is turning back in distance. Paul, she, too, has been facing some of really quality racehorses like Epping Forest and Lover's Key.
Yeah, Broken Border also is in pretty good form. They put Lasix on 3 back, and that was her best race. You just don't see a win on the page in 2 years. That's the worry. But on the cutback with George, he's dangerous. And the horse doesn't have a win at Belmont either.
Well, I have a question for you, Andy, and following Belmont Park for as many years as you've had, what is it like when George Weaver, obviously he's very successful at Saratoga, does that always transition down to Belmont?
That's actually a question I was going to bring up as well. It doesn't always work. It's like he's cranked up so much for Saratoga. You wonder if those horses are going to come back and run as well. Having said that, I just think this horse makes some sense and is a price, so I don't mind taking a shot. But I do worry about that a little bit, Gabby. I think it's a very fair question.
All right. Well, the 3, it's in the stars. Real quick, do you think she's overbet right now at 8-5?
Yes, I think she's very overbet.
Yeah, she is, but we also said the other horse was overbet last because she might get left Spy Gal, and she didn't. If the 3 doesn't get left in here, she's going to be tough.
All right, well, we'll see how it all unfolds. As she is a closing sprinter, she's your current favorite. They line up in the gate here for race 7 as we send it up to Larry Colmus for the call.
Queen of Spades will be the next one to move into line. And High Jingo to the outside stall will be the last one to load here, 9-5 on It's in the Stars. And John Velasquez, as High Jingo and Paco Lopez take their spot in the outside stall here, and they're all in line. They're off. Queen of Spades comes out running and goes to the front with Wanta Queen away in second. And now on the far outside, there goes High Jingo. And High Jingo grabs the lead. And having to steady hard there was Wanta Queen behind Tiffany's Freud. And a lot of traffic trouble there. High Jingo emerges with a 1.5 length lead. It's same kind of crazy running along in second, moving for the far turn. And now getting shuffled back as Queen of Spades moves up on the outside with Discreet Image. Then a break of 2 to Treat Her Like Star. Then Rock Avenue Road to the inside, followed by Majestic Bloom as they make their way around the turn. It's in the Stars is going to come wide. In behind them, Gibbon Fire, Wanta Queen, and Tiffany's Freud, who had early trouble, are left at the back of the field. As they come to the top of the stretch, it is High Jingo in front. High Jingo turning for home with the lead here. Queen of Spades on the outside is second. And then it's same kind of crazy in third. Treat Her Like Star is there. On the far outside, It's in the Stars is trying to put in a bid too. As they come into the final 16th, it is High Jingo on the inside. Queen of Spades alongside. Same kind of crazy. It's in the Stars. Rock Avenue Road down to the line. Queen of Spades does it. And then it was a photo between It's in the Stars and High Jingo and close for fourth in 109.72.
huge price there with the 6 Queen of Spades getting the victory, guys, as we saw the 12 High Jingo kind of flip-flop on her leads late, but a confusing finish, surely enough.
Yeah, I mean, Queen of Spades, of course, was a lot of speed, was actually able to rate off the 12 here, and I thought it was a good aggressive ride from Paco Lopez, who just got nailed, but this could be a pick 6 buster. We're looking at a double carry over tomorrow.
Yeah, this is amazing. She's never passed a horse in her life, and she was able to pass the 12. We talked about that early. 12 got green early in the stretch, got green a little bit late. When Paco hit her left-handed, she ducks down to the rail, but give Louis Reyes credit. The 7's in a ton of trouble behind horses loaded. The 3 had some time, but again, she didn't break sharply.
She got left a little bit, and you noted, we were talking about it, she got herself back in the game, but she gives herself a little too much to do. And the thing about the 3 is she just doesn't have that real finish, a good favorite to keep betting against.
Oh, in this race, guys, I mean, not only is the story about a 22-to-1 shot that just won, but a lot of trouble trips in here from the get-go.
Yeah, it's kind of race you really want to watch. Again, you want to watch it again in the Naira Now app. Your horse, the 7, blocked the stretch.
Yeah, the 4 was a little green on the rail, didn't want to be inside on the backstretch. I thought that horse finished up okay. Yeah, you're right.
You know, had no excuse, the 11, the horse we liked.
No, the horse was drafting up nice. She had nothing left.
Nothing.
We could have seen maybe a little bit of trouble trip from the 3. It's in the stars there, too. But the 6, Queen of Spades, she was forwardly placed. She kept herself out of trouble, and you can't fault her for doing that.
You know what? It'll be interesting to see how Luis Reyes does going forward. We'll see him over the winter riding in New York. Because an apprentice that has some talents, taking him some time. And listen, he made no mistakes here.
No, he doesn't. You know what? A lot of questions you always have with the bug ball. You're getting the weight, but can he finish? He put away the whip, and he finished with this horse.
Absolutely a smart ride there for Luis Reyes. And congratulations to that man right there, Naipaul Chatterpole. All right, we'll come back with Winner Circle and prices right after this. But the 1978 Jockey Club Gold Cup was a race for the ages as Seattle Slew engaged in battle with Exceller down the stretch, a race in which he proved you can still be a hero in defeat.
Make Naira Bets your home for online horse racing and betting. Start earning your sign-up bonus right now. With Naira Bets, you can use our state-of-the-art website to bet on live horse racing at over 200 tracks around the world. Bet anywhere, anytime, using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Build your bankroll with our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up now at NairaBets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus now. Naira Bets, racing's best play.
After siring the winners of last year's Grade 1 Test Stakes and Humana Distaff, Flatter is having another banner year in 2017. Recent stars include graded stakes winners Flatline and Favorable Outcome, plus multiple graded stakes winner West Coast, who defeated this year's Kentucky Derby, Preakness, Belmont, and Haskell winners in the Grade 1 Travers. Flatter, the successful son of AP Envy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Welcome back to Belmont Park Live, and the 6 Queen of Spades gets the victory right now, but currently is unofficial, but a beautiful trip for this frilled filly by Kitten's Joy, trained by Naipaul Chatterpole. And pretty impressive in the fact that she steered clear from trouble.
I think the only person that would have this would be Juice Newton, who's saying Queen of Hearts. But at $48.6.
Want to sing it for us, Paul?
No, but she's never passed the horse, and if you had this horse, you were on your way in the NYRA Pick 5.
I'm going to tell you right now, this NYRA Bet's late Pick 5, another hiccup, and we'll be looking at a carryover
that's
and the
point.
Pick 6
That's
tomorrow.
actually a good point, yeah.
We could potentially see that as a 22-to-1 shot winner there in race 7. With more, we go to Maggie.
And I'm joined by winning trainer Naipaul Chatterpole, who sent out Queen of Spades here today. And she's a horse that, well, in the past, she's really liked to be on the lead, but she showed a new dimension today, sitting off of it.
Well, I think the jock made the right decision. This 12 horse kind of rushed up to the lead, and the jock kind of took back, sitting third, which was on the outside, which was a great choice that he made anyway. But overall, the horse turned around, greatly from Saratoga to here. And, that's me taking off Lasix anyway. She was on Lasix. I take her off, and she started running way better.
You could see that, that's for sure. And also, you got your first win at Saratoga ever this past year. I think you had 2 up there, right? But your first one was with Set the Trap, my favorite one-eyed horse. Talk about that experience.
Oh, that was awesome. It was the greatest feeling ever. Claim a horse and win right back, and, they took him right back too. But it was my first win. I was so, joyful. It wasn't unimaginable.
Well, it was great to see you in the winner's circle that day and here. Congratulations.
Thank you, Meg. Thank you very much.
All right, Gabby.
Congratulations to those connections, and thank you very much, Maggie. And, of course, that big long shot might shake things up a little bit in terms of those multi-race bets, the Pick 6, and, of course, the NYRA Bet's late Pick 5.
I'll tell you what. You're alive in this thing. I really hope you got coverage. We're rooting for you up here.
Yeah, so it's $24,000 carryover going into today, and that Pick 3 to start the Pick 6 is $1,100. It's going to have to chalk out for it to pay today.
And the 8th race, our feature race, is going to be interesting as well. A potent field. It could be hard to get through as well. But, of course, that race named after the great Seattle Slew. And, Andy, I know, well, he was one of your favorite horses.
It was an amazing horse. And it's funny that you wouldn't think that a Triple Crown winner would come into a race like the Marlboro Cup seeking redemption. But, of course, Affirmed had won the Triple Crown as well. And it was the first meeting of 2 Triple Crown winners. But Seattle Slew had lost his prior start at the Meadowlands to Dr. Patches. Angel Carrera rode Dr. Patches that day, got the ride on Seattle Slew from John Cruguet, and he was able to walk the dog going 24 and 47 the first quarter and half mile, and it was over from there. But this was the beginning of showing what a great horse Slew was.
You're saying he was walking the dog in 133 and 3.
Well, 47 and a half for Seattle Slew was like a sleepwalk.
You know what I compare him to? He's Archie Manning, too. He's the best, one of the best on the field, and the sire of all sires, the broodmare sire champion. I mean, you can go on and on about Seattle Slew.
Well, you guys mentioned jockey Angel Cordero. He takes, we caught up with him actually about the 78 Marble Cup and his campaign that year.
And to me, that was one of the most exciting races in my life because that's history, number one. Number two, I used to ride Affirmed when he was a baby and I lost it. So I was looking for something that can beat him. So when Seattle Slew broke and won the first quarter in 24, I know the way was over. I said, man, ain't no way that horse is going to come and beat this horse. After that race, I thought that Seattle Slew was unbeatable. And then we came back to the Gold Cup. Last didn't want to run the race after the Marlboro. He wants to rest. So I did, and I beat a seller. We came back, and Last told me he was going to put a rabbit to go with Seattle Slew. And when he told me the name of the rabbit, I said, he cannot even keep up if you put a rope on him. So, unlucky for me, Seattle Slew was very relaxed before the race. He went through the door before the start. And Bobby Duncan did a good job saving him from running off, so we brought him back. When we brought him back and loaded, he was so hot and so shaking. He broke, and I got Steve Cotton next to me, and the rabbit on the outside was Stevie. So when we came out of there, Cotton come out of there riding because our friend was like a push button. You could ride him from here to the wall and then backed up on him. So he rode his horse and saw the rabbit screaming and chirping on the outside. And my horse was right there with him. And when I looked, I saw Steve Cotton's saddle started sleeping. So I said, maybe it's a good chance for me to take this horse back and set off from him. And what happened was when I took a hold of my horse, he made little contact with Affirmed, and I lost my left turf. And I bounced the saddle like 2 or 3 times, and this horse just cut. There was no way I could ride him.
They move still as a team to the backstretch. Seattle Slew along the rail, affirmed on the outside, and Life's Hope further out in third. Those three are really blazing down the backstretch. Then it's a gap of 20 lengths to one cut above. Exceller now moves up to take over that spot.
We went 22 and change. We went 45 and change. 3/4 in 9 and change. It was a little too much with all that weight fighting with these horses. And when Exceller came to me on the 3/8 pole, I panicked. To be honest with you, I panicked. I didn't think Seattle Slew was going to let a horse pass him and come back again. So I started riding him from there. And this poor horse took a whole mile and a half of beating. And he still almost come back and beat Exceller. So it is probably the race in my life that if I have a chance to ride again, that would be that one. I feel bad because he would have been the only horse to win 2 Triple Crown. Triple Crown as a 3-year-old and Triple Crown as an older horse. And he only missed by a nose. And I always carry it on my conscience that it's my fault.
Well, of course, the 1977 Belmont Stakes, he made history being the first and only undefeated Triple Crown winner in history, but it could be the argument that his defeat in the Jockey Club Gold Cup was one of his most resilient and powerful performances.
It might have been, I won't say it might have, it was the greatest losing performance in the history of horse racing.
It really is. I mean, Exceller was a champion himself, and Seattle Slew, the brilliant speed that he had and the brilliant speed that he had at all different distances. He can go from 6 furlongs all the way to 1.5 miles to 1.25 miles. So, I mean, he was brilliant on both coasts, and like I said, he was brilliant off the field. I mean, he was North America's leading sire a couple of times. He's a leading broodmare sire. You can go on and on what he did for this industry. I know there's Mr. P, I know there's Northern Dancer, but they weren't the same horse on the racetrack that he was.
He was an amazing, amazing racehorse. And to talk to Angel about that Jockey Club, as you heard right there, it haunts him to this day, and it's such a compelling story.
Yeah. It absolutely is. That was great stuff. Taking a look back at the brilliant Seattle Slew. Well, just 2 weeks after his brilliant win in the Marlboro Cup, Seattle Slew would go on to dominate in the Woodward. The definition of an iron horse. We'll have that race coming up next.
This 3-time graded stakes winning millionaire defeated 20 Grade 1 winners. In the Dixie Stakes, he defeated Canadian champion and horse of the year Up With the Birds and set a new course record at Saratoga. Runner-up in the Grade 1 Manhattan and Shadwell Turf Mile, Ironicus ran 7 triple-digit buyers, including this score in the Fort Marcy Stakes. Half to 4 graded stakes winners, Ironicus has the speed, class, and bloodlines to become the next great sire by distorted humor. Ironicus.
Make NyraBets your home for online horse racing and betting. Start earning your sign-up bonus right now. With NyraBets, you can use our state-of-the-art website to bet on live horse racing at over 200 tracks around the world. Bet anywhere, anytime, using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Build your bankroll with our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up now at NyraBets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus now. NyraBets, racing's best play.
welcome back to Belmont Park Live, and still a lot more action left to come. And wanted to remind everybody about this new $100 sign-up bonus. Make sure you use that promo code LIVE when you're signing up as a new member for Naira Bets, and getting the bonus is easy. Just bet $100 in 14 days and you'll get $100. Go to nairabets.com for more information on that. And up next is the Seattle Slew Stakes. We head out to the main track at 1 mile and an eighth. And, well, this race was pretty much impacted by some key scratches. The 6, Far From Over, is out, and the 5, Royal Posse, as well. So all the money going to the 3, Conquest, Windy City. For more on this, we head down to Maggie for a paddock report brought to you by Shadwell Farm, building speed for the future. Maggie?
Gabby, I wish I had something clever to say, but I don't. Conquest Windy City, he by far looks like the horse to beat in this Seattle Slew. I mean, he looks even better than what I had seen from him in Saratoga. I think the 1-turn mile and an eighth here will suit him down to a T. It's the only track in the country here at Belmont that we can run such a distance around 1 turn. So he looks fantastic. I think his main opposition, as people will readily see, is number 4, Secure It Is in here. Secure It Is, he always does look good physically. He carries his weight well. He has a great coat to him, typical of a Jimmy Jerkins horse. But his form might not be in what it is, or it has been in the past, or at least what Conquest Windy Cities is currently. I will say, though, today, this is the sharpest I've seen him this season in his 4th start of 2017. Certainly a little bit more energized than his previous efforts. So I don't know if that will have a bearing on his running today, but I think it is a step in the right direction. Gabby?
Thank you, Maggie. And, of course, the 3, Conquest Windy City, your current heavy favorite at 1-2. Guys, does he look like the main speed in here as well?
Yeah, he looks too easy on paper.
He really
That's
does.
the problem.
He really does.
You know, horse races aren't run on paper, but this is a horse that has improved dramatically since going to Brennan Walsh. I mean, just look at the difference. And last time out, he got pressed by Rally Cry, who ran off the screen. I know he disappointed the Woodward, but he ran that day.
Yeah, he did. And then, 3 back, he loses to Shaman Ghost. He's Arcanova, who he beat. I mean, he's running against some nice ones, and it seems like he's getting better and better. There is not a lot of pace here. Now, do you know something? The 2 might be able to show a little bit of speed, and it seems like he might have got back on his game. But 1-2, I felt like this was going to happen. Now, Securities, the 4, I mean, pace compromise. I know the one of the 2 wins is here at Belmont. But that lone win you see is by a neck at Gulfstream Park, the one at least you see on the page. All the rest are a lot of seconds, a lot of thirds, and almost the same movie each time.
That's the thing. He just doesn't seem to have the finish. Now, having said that, he ran extremely well 2 starts back. When he was attacking, he didn't break that sharp. He attacked outside. You might have been better off inside. But last time he had nothing. And do you know something? Ran well in some ways in both starts and was compromised by outside posts. Maybe he's better.
I think Do You Something's better. And I'll tell you why. If you look back at the 2's races, obviously the horse that you're seeing here running second, 2 today, got back on form. You look at some of the races, it seemed like during the July and May months, just running bad. And that one race at Belmont over a muddy racetrack, maybe draw a line through that. But it just seems like this son of Awesome Again got back to his form last time. And maybe he can sit close enough.
And that's the 2 Do You Know Something you're referring to. And I agree. I don't think there's a huge difference between the likely of the 2 or 4 winning this race. And I think you agree, Paul. And look at that. The 2 is a much better price.
Yeah, at 6-1 compared to 5-2. I mean, I just think the 2 tactically can stay close enough to the 3. Now, could it hurt him? Yes, because he might be in chase mode. But does Eric Consell take a shot and maybe try to go to the front? Conquest Windy City has sat off the pace before. I don't see that happening, but maybe that happens. I don't know.
Conquest Windy City is going. One thing we haven't touched on, because it's the only dirt race, there's a possibility you're better off staying off the rail, because a couple of races we saw favorites try to go up the inside and not finish it all. Now, it may be that they just didn't have any finish, so it's hard to have much evidence with such a few number of dirt races. But what if the 3 goes the lead and goes over the rail, and the rail's not the place to be?
That's true. And what about the 1 here, Gabby? This horse getting played.
Oh,
I know there's scratches here, but the horse is getting played here.
So he's in definitely an interesting prospect here. Of course, backside of the moon, the last time that he was on the main track, guys, he faced the likes of Rally Cry and Diversify, and, well, I think that stamps him a good shot here.
Had a little trouble. Kind of picked the pieces for third, but I agree. I mean, you look at his Beyer speed figures. They very much fit in the race. He's a horse that actually overachieved in the turf, but he's really a dirt horse.
Yeah, they might have got surprised with the turf win, and then it sort of went backwards. He might be a better turf or dirt horse, and you're right. Gabby makes a good point. You go look at Rally Cry. He was 6.5 lengths behind Rally Cry. And where was Conquest Windy City? I know different circumstances, 9 lengths. So you can make a case for the one here, definitely.
Yeah, I always have a kind of a soft spot for backside of the moon. He's a nice horse. He also picks up John Velasquez, and you could argue that's a bit of an improvement of the riders he had in prior dirt races.
Well, we'll see what happens here in just a moment. But I want to remind you, you can keep playing at home through NYRA Bets with some great bonuses on California racing at Los Alamitos. If you hit the early pick 4 at Los Al, which starts in race 2, you get a 10% winner's bonus. Then for a 500,000 point all split, just place a $10 exacta bet on race 5, and win or lose, you'll split 500,000 points. Visit NYRABets.com for more information. And we're getting set and ready to bring you the post parade for race 8, of course, our feature race of the day, the Seattle Slew Stakes. And of course, this post parade is brought to you by OCD Pellet, celebrating their 10th anniversary of supporting the equine industry with their 2-in-1 bone and joint supplement. For more information, visit OCDpellets.com. And leading the field is the one backside of the moon, getting back to dirt for Leo O'Brien.
Returns to the dirt after trying the turf, but he has solid dirt races on the go back.
And the 2, Do You Know Something? Another one for AC Avila, ridden by Eric Kunsel.
This is a horse that might be getting back in form after a nice second-place finish last time out.
And there's a look at your heavy favorite, the 3, Conquest Windy City, for trainer Brendan Walsh.
Has faced some very tough company in his dirt race and will look to lead this field on a merry chase.
And the 4, Securities, trained by Jimmy Jerkins, Manny Franco, will ride.
Seems like he runs the same race every time. Whether it's good enough today, we'll find out at 5-2.
Well, that's the field of 4 going postward here. And, of course, the 3, Conquest Windy City. Well, he lost nothing in defeat in his last start, but the pressure is on today. We'll talk more about him and the rest of the field coming up next in the Seattle Slew Stakes.
Grade 1 winner Lee traveled the world competing against the best of his generation. A graded stakes winner on both dirt and turf, he set a new track record in the Grade 1 Don Handicap and retired with earnings of more than $2.3 million. With his much-anticipated first foals hitting the ground this year, the sky is the limit for this promising young stallion, Lee, at Claiborne Farm.
Welcome back to Belmont Park Live, as we got a couple of swimmers in the infield pond here.
They're aliens, I think.
I'm telling you, feed the ducks. It's good luck, Andy.
Is that my problem, Paul?
I'll tell you one thing. Paul has a lot of angles and weird methodologies, but I hope they work for you, Paul.
Can we do the show out in the infield with me and Paul feeding the ducks, see if that works?
It's good luck, I'm telling you.
We'll see, but there's a look at Seattle Slew, of course, the 1977 Belmont winner and Triple Crown winner as well. And that's a field of 4 going postward for a race named after him. We head out to the main track at 1 1/8 miles. And guys, we'll pick it up where we left off with the 3 Conquest Windy City. His performance last time out in the Alydar, does that make him worthy of 3 to 5 favoritism?
Well, that combined with him being controlling speed, I mean, in my opinion, he's supposed to be very, very hard to beat in this race. Do I run to the window, bet him at 3 to 5? No. I'm not betting against him.
So this race does kick off the final pick 3 of the day. Obviously, we're well into those pick 5s and pick 6s. But in a race like this, how do you strategize? Do you lean heavily on a horse like the 3, or do you click the all button?
I played some pick 3s because I'm blowing the pick 5, the pick 4, etc. And I bet $3 on the 3 and $1 on the 1. I decided to use a backup.
Yeah, you know what I did? I boxed 2-3. I'm hoping the 2 could beat the 3 here, and I took my shot with the longest shot on the board.
All right. Well, for more on this field, we head down to Maggie.
Thanks, Gabby. And taking a look at your current heavy favorite at 3 to 5, Conquest Windy City, it's quite amazing. And just to stroke the ego of trainer Brendan Walsh just a bit, and truth be told, I am friends with him, but he's so good at picking out these horses, whether it be claiming them or buying them privately, and getting them to win these kind of longer dirt races. They show speed. Carey Street, Scuba, those 2 names come to mind. And obviously Conquest Windy City is moving his way up to that rank as they're loading in the gates. He's going to be awfully tough here. We'll throw it up to the voice of the Triple Crown and our NYRA race caller, Larry Colmis.
Securities goes in, and they're all in line and ready for the start. They're off. In the Seattle Slew, Conquest Windy City to the front. Securities on the outside, away running in second. Backside of the moon, and Do You Know Something from off the pace. And now Do You Know Something is going to rush through on the inside and put some pressure on Conquest Windy City. Securities sticks with them. And now the trailer is backside of the moon, who is 3.5 lengths behind as the field runs up the backstretch. Conquest Windy City well off the rail in front through a 24.14 quarter. Securities is on the outside. Do You Know Something is there, right toward the rail. And backside of the moon's not far behind either. Just 2 lengths off the lead running up the backstretch. So now there goes Do You Know Something to take the lead on the inside. Conquest Windy City sits second. Securities is just to their outside, and backside of the moon's on the rail and now moves up a spot into third after a 47.3 half mile. Moving for the far turn, Do You Know Something, the leader by a neck. On the outside, Conquest Windy City is second. Between those 2, it's backside of the moon, and Securities is under a ride to keep up as they make their way around the far turn. Conquest Windy City on the far outside. Do You Know Something along the rail, backside of the moon splits them. And now the 3 of them are right together, and Securities is full out behind them. Last, as they come toward the top of the stretch. And it is backside of the moon who has a narrow lead here. Conquest Windy City comes 3 wide. Do You Know Something cuts the corner. Securities fourth with a furlong to run. Backside of the moon in front. Backside of the moon, the leader by 1.5 lengths now. Securities, who's been under a drive, has suddenly moved up into second on the outside and is gaining ground. On backside of the moon, here comes Securities. It's going to be close. It's going to be Securities. He got there over backside of the moon. Then Do You Know Something in Conquest Windy City in 1 minute 50.19.
Securities, but a little bit of interesting race riding here in this race, but Securities gets up in the nick of time, guys.
It's hard to believe because Securities was under a drive, and Larry Colmis pointed out the half mile to go and appeared to be going nowhere. But one place he was the middle of the racetrack.
You make a good point because it seems like the inside has not been good today. The 2 looked like he was loaded, could not go anywhere. I cannot believe the 4-horse won this race. If we could go back to the head-on of the backside, the 4 was about 8 wide because Kendrick Carmouche kept Conquest Windy City in the complete outside of the racetrack. I think the outside of the racetrack's good, but not on the backside. It might be better on the front side, as we take a look at this, Andy, this was weird as can be.
Well, there's no question he didn't want to be on the inside. Now, John Velasquez was down on the inside. He ends up getting the 2-path, but he did sort of drop down to the rail in the late stages, and that's when the 4 caught him. Whether or not it was the rail, I don't know. It's just weird with the 4 because even Larry noted it, and we've all noticed it up here. The 4 was under a drive in the backstretch and going absolutely nowhere.
You're right, man. He started hitting that horse right-handed, and here's the thing, Gabby, easy by about a half.
Well, it was very interesting to get that close look at Johnny Velasquez, to see him looking around and looking at the other 2 horses who were positioned in the middle of the racetrack.
Well, he ended up near the inside, but not right on the inside. I don't know. It's tough to believe the one got beat. But then again, I backed up with him in victories.
Well, it definitely was an interesting race, and Securitas gets the best of the 4-horse field in this running of the Seattle Slew Stakes. We'll get more after this, but first, Miss Temple City returns to the Bluegrass State. She seeks an important win today after a somewhat frustrating season. More on that next.
Chadwell Farm, home to world-class stallions, offers 2 successful stake sires. Brilliant Miler, Daher, a consistent source of quality. Daher is the sire of black-type winners coast to coast. Grade 1 winner and millionaire, Albertus Maximus, winner of the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile and Don Handicap. He is now siring black-type horses across the U.S. and abroad. Chadwell Farm, building speed for the future.
They're off.
Los Alamitos Racecourse congratulates all of the connections of Los Alamitos Derby winner West Coast for his sensational victory in the Grade 1 Travers Stakes at Saratoga. Since our first meet in 2014, many of the top stars in thoroughbred racing have raced at Los Alamitos. Who will be next? Join us for the Los Alamitos Fall Thoroughbred Meet. Opening day is Thursday, September 7th.
You're watching Belmont Park Live, and Securitas, well, he stamped himself as a stakes winner today, getting the victory in the Seattle Slew Stakes. And the last time he found the winner circle was at Gulfstream back in February, but good to see good connections back in the winner circle.
Good job by Manny Franco. This horse looked like he was not really loving it, but he stayed on him, stayed riding him, and he won the race. Good ride by him. Congratulations to Centennial Farms, the son of Tiz Now. Seems like he might have got that win that can maybe get him to move forward.
Of course, a beautifully bred son of Tiz Now here as we head down to the winner circle, standing by with the winning connections. Maggie?
And Gabby, it certainly isn't over until, well, the wire comes up, and that was the case for Securities, as I'm joined by winning trainer Jimmy Jerkins. And Jimmy, we were just talking off camera, and I said, what a strange race, and you said, well, it always is when there's 4 horses.
Yeah, jocks don't know really what to do. You know, should I go? Shouldn't I go? We don't want him to have an easy lead, but then I want to save some for the end. So, you know, that's why the lead switched about 100 times before the head of the stretch. But he wore him down, and he's that type. He ran decent in those distance races last year, so he has a lot of stamina.
Yeah, certainly second in the flat out, going 1 mile 3/8. And Jimmy, is this a horse that you progress and you keep trying these stake races, these long kind of marathons?
I guess so, because he's probably not quick enough to go. I mean, now he's out of his 3 other than condition now, so he's in a tough spot right now. We'll probably have to go fishing around for him now.
Well, hopefully we see him here in New York still. Congratulations with Securities in the Seattle Slew.
Thanks a lot. This was sweet. Yep.
It was very sweet watching him get up, Gabby.
Absolutely, it was. And sometimes when you have a 4-horse field, it's all up to the jockey, and it's a little bit of race riding. And I thought Manny Franco did a great job.
Yeah, you make a good point, and that's a great interview, because when you go back, and sometimes I always want to go back and look. I didn't like the 4. Go back and look at the races, and the races going longer: Turco Bravo, Shaman Ghost, Watershed, Tale of Life, all pretty good horses, and that horse just absolutely wore him down. Like he said, he wants to go a little bit longer. The race turned into a little bit of a scramble, and it turned into the horse that had the most nutrition.
It really was. It's funny with the 4-horse field. It does seem like it was just an oddly run race, and you think the 4-horse field should be more logical, and sometimes they're the goofiest races.
It really is. They are.
Especially when you have 2 horses who are out in the middle of the racetrack on the backside, and you've got 2 that are on the rails. So it was
looks like European racing when they separate.
Exactly. Right? And speaking of European racing, well, of course, Kentucky Downs is a track that kind of simulates a European racetrack as we take a look at Franklin, Kentucky. Guys, this kind of looks, I've never been, but it almost looks like a hunt meet. A little bit,
somewhat
right?
Does. It's very, very little quaint meet, and it's a lot of fun. I'm with you. I have not been there. I wish I could go there. They have great racing. A lot of the jockeys that you'll see out here in the Naira Colony up at Saratoga are there. Miss Temple City, double Grade 1 winner, beating the boys. Even money in the Kentucky Downs Lady Turf.
But the horse that you mentioned yesterday, Linda, taking a lot of money at 2-1 right now.
Absolutely, and this is going to be a very good field here as we go send it postward. We started off with the 1 Bo Lee, trained by Brendan Walsh, and Jimmy Graham in the saddle.
She's going to have... Oh.
And the 2 Linda here goes postward for trainer Ian Wilkes, followed by the 4 Zypessa for Mike Sidham. Joe Bravo will ride 4-1 right now. And your favorite, heavy favorite, and rightly so, the 5 Miss Temple City. Graham Motion, of course, her regular rider, Edgar Prado, in the saddle today. Scratch the 6 Majestic Angle, and we pick it up on the 7 Susie B here at 10-1 for trainer Mike Maker, Never to Scout. A Mike Maker runner on the turf, Tyler Gaffleon will ride. And the 8 Seeking Paradise for trainer Joe Sharp. Went a mile last time out, but mostly a turf sprinter, so that's why she is at odds of 35-1. Well, the 5 Miss Temple City, guys, she's had a bit of a frustrating season here. Obviously, Graham Motion saying he's wanted to run her several times. Her schedule has been messed up. She was planned on running at Keeneland in the spring. She had a scratch out of that, again, with the Churchill Distaff Turf Mile in the Bogey. So she was at a disadvantage from the get-go going over to Royal Ascot.
Yeah, and whether Graham even really wanted to go to that spot or not is open to debate. And obviously a tough spot off the long layoff. But then the matchmaker, I guess going 1 1/8, just 6 weeks after coming back from Europe, a little bit far for her. But here's the question with her. There's no question that she is way better than this horse. She runs a race. Not even close. She's a literally 1-9 in this race. If you knew she'd run her last year's race, where she won 3 Grade 1s, 2 against the boys. Is it possible at 5? Maybe she just isn't the same horse.
I'm with you. I think she might be going the other way. And I've always loved, this is one of my favorite mares. She's really game, and she's beaten some nice horses. Obviously, Claiborne, standing at Claiborne, Ironica, she beat him. She beat Tourist. Well, you can go on and on. But I just think that, you know, a mile is her scope. Now, is a mile at Kentucky Downs a regular mile? No, it's a little bit stronger, a little bit farther. And I think that's why you're seeing the horse on your screen getting bet, Linda. She's got a great win over the racetrack at Kentucky Downs. It was only her second time ever getting on turf. That's a tough accomplishment at this kind of racetrack because you sort of wind and you move a little bit. And I think the public is noticing that. That's why she's 5-2.
I think it's because you said in the show yesterday you liked Linda.
Well, it could be.
I think it's that. I don't think it's anything to do with anything you said, Paul. You gave her out. She's also another horse with the person's name, right? If I had a horse, it's never going to be named Wall.
My mom's name, actually.
What about
Linda.
the one? You talk about
she beat Linda.
Oh yeah, she beat Linda. You talk about a European horse. She's basically been saddled at like 5 or 6 different racetracks over in Europe. So she's probably faced some of these undulating courses, and she's getting bet a little bit at 8-1.
And as you guys mentioned, 2 starts back at Indiana Grand, she did beat Linda in that race, and that was an impeccable ride by James Graham, just kind of sneaking up the rail, whereas Linda had to go wide and angle out. And I guess the big question is, this is a one-turn mile. There's undulating hills, and it's kind of a different type of turf course. So with this type of race, do you kind of prefer those true milers? Do you prefer sprinters, or do you prefer maybe horses that are better going a mile and an eighth?
Well, I think that's fair. It's sort of like the European thing. When we see the Europeans come from here and they're 7 furlongs to a mile type, we'll often say, well, they can probably go a mile and an eighth here if they can go a mile in Europe. Is a horse like Miss Temple City, who's a true miler, is this a taxing mile? I don't know. It's a good question,
That's
Gabby.
a good question. It really is. Because, like I said, I really feel she's better in a mile. But then you look at her Diana, and she was right there against Tacita. She's run some good races.
Without the best of trips that day, to be honest.
You know, the 4 is the horse that's tough to figure out in here. Zepesa she's shown speed going longer. Is she going to be better? You ask the question, is it going to play a little bit longer? Then it plays into her hands because she's a better distance horse than these horses.
I think she's the second likeliest winner, Zepesa. She's kept very good company, and I like the cut back for her. And if it's a demanding mile, it really suits her well.
Yeah, I mean, she took the lead against Grand Chute. I mean, Grand Chute should have won on Arlington Million Day. She's in very good form, the 4 in here.
Now, she is accomplished. She's a 4-time winner, but does it bother you guys that her 2 most recent victories, and albeit it was a grade 3 and then an allowance race, were on the lead, and can she get that today?
I think that's another reasonable question. Here's the... If you look at from a pace figure standpoint, Miss Temple City is faster than she is earlier because when she's grinding it out, Zepesa, it's in these longer distance races and the paces aren't that fast. But what is Edgar Prado thinking? Is he thinking, I just want to go to the front and control this race, or do I want to sit off of Zepesa? I can tell you if Miss Temple City was my horse, I would go to the front. Not say if somebody wants to take it, really wants you, let her go. But I think you're supposed to ride Miss Temple City like you have confidence that she's the best horse in the race.
Well, she is. I mean, maybe get her Shadwell race where she just laid a little bit off, and then she sort of put that field away, and then 2 monsters came after her late.
She beat Ironicus, who was a monster, Tourist, who won the Breeders' Cup mile after the next start.
Well, this is a very interesting field here lined up. Of course, Miss Temple City, 3-time Grade 1 winner. We head out to Kentucky Downs with John Leese with a call.
Waiting on Seeking Paradise. Now walking in. Stand by for the ladies' turf. They're off. Bowley broke a bit slow and dropped back to last just after the break. Zepesa is getting out to flash her customary speed, and Zepesa is out to take the lead and set the pace. Miss Temple City is in the race, but backs off, sitting in second. Linda comes up from the inside with Susie B racing a joint third. Susie B just a little bit headstrong here as they run up the hill toward the outside, Seeking Paradise, and Bowley is patient at the back, gives them about 6 or 7 lengths of a head start. So at the top of the rise now, the pace is set by Zepesa. She's allowed to run her own race. No pressure. She's clear now by about 2 lengths as they come down for the dip. It's Zepesa out clear from Miss Temple City, placed close up in second. Linda to the inside third, and Susie B with the white blinkers is there fourth and 3.5 lengths off the lead. 2.5 back to Bowley, now out of last, and Seeking Paradise, the long shot, trails 7 lengths off the lead. Less than a half mile to go. Zepesa still shows the way. She blazes the trail, length and 3/4 in front. But Miss Temple City coming on strongly. She's got a good hold of the bit. She looks looks loaded, sitting right there in second. Then Susie B and Linda, a pair of grays. 2.5 back to Seeking Paradise, and Bowley tries to stoke it up from the inside. At the top of the stretch now, Zepessa picks up the pace, and she goes on for home. But here's an immediate attack by Miss Temple City. Linda's got the inside, then Susie B and Bowley. In deep stretch, Zepessa now fully extended to hold off Miss Temple City. And the whip coming out here from Edgar Prado, just a tap there on Miss Temple City. And she comes to the front, and the decorated Grade 1 winner's got the lead from Zepessa. Zepessa stretching her, but Miss Temple City, her class prevails, and she wins the Kentucky Downs Ladies Turf. Heck of a run from Zepessa. Then Linda,
Miss
Bowley,
Temple
Susie
City
B.
getting back into the winner's circle there after a sad defeat in the matchmaker last time out. But guys, we saw Zepessa go to the lead. This was a narrow victory. What are your thoughts of this win?
I think Zepessa ran very well, not to give credit to the winner, because the winner is terrific, Miss Temple. It's great to see her back in the winner's circle. You want to see good horses like that do well. But I'll tell you what, Zepessa gave her everything she wanted.
Well, you know what? You got to give Edgar Prado credit. He was cool, calm, because, listen, Zepessa coming out of those longer races, he took a tiny bit of a gamble that I could pass a horse that has a little bit more fitness than me, but class won over here.
Couldn't agree more there. Miss Temple City with the win at Kentucky Downs over Zepessa. Always an impressive win, and happy to see Good Connections back in the winner's circle there, as that was an important win in terms of her schedule moving forward. Of course, the Breeders' Cup in the fall. Well, race 9 is quickly approaching here at Belmont Park, and well, we've got the 4 Camelot Kitten as their current favorite right now at 2-1, but this is a very, very competitive field. For more on this field and a closer look, we head down to Maggie Wolfendale.
Gabby, thank you. As we do see a Chad Brown horse favoring here, and look, both of his horses look sensational. Quick note here on number 1, Teen Colors. He's acting up pretty badly ever since they put the saddle on him. He's rearing up, kind of striking out, misbehaving to say the least. But we'll check in with some other horses that look fantastic, and that includes Highland Sky, who has, well, I would say probably had a frustrating campaign for his connections this year. He's been scratched several times due to softer turf. He'll get firm here today, and he's just a horse that you have to time everything perfectly. He needs things to kind of unravel in front of him, but physically he could not look any better than what he does here today. He's really nice on the bridle. He's very focused. He's just kind of chomping at the bit, but it's that calm, cool, collected energy you like to see as well. So I like what I'm seeing from Highland Sky. Moving on to number 2, Vision Perfect. He will stretch back out for his second start beneath the tutelage of Jason Service, who is one of the most dangerous trainers that we have on the grounds here on this coast. And he's a horse that physically has changed completely. He actually looks more like a sprinter. I know his form would suggest that this is the right move, getting back out to a mile and a 16th, but he's become very round, very kind of compact almost, and carries a lot more weight than I've ever seen him in the past. He looks great. I love when horses do that. It's just, is he the same horse that will be good at a mile and a 16th here, Gabby?
Well, that is the question, as the 2 Vision Perfect will look to stretch his speed. Of course, that paddock report was brought to you by Shadwell Farm, building speed for the future. Well, the 4 Camelot Kitten, of course, by Kitten's Joy, will look to lead himself into the winner's circle after a good year last year. Looks to pick up the pieces this year. Up next.
Undefeated in sprint competition, Eclipse champion Run Happy captured 3 Grade 1 victories and set blistering speed records at both Keeneland and Saratoga. In the Breeders' Cup Sprint, he dominated the world's fastest runners, going 6 furlongs in a record-breaking 108 and change. The only horse nominated for 3 Eclipse Awards, Run Happy was crowned champion male sprinter, all the while racing 100% drug-free. Champion, millionaire, record breaker, Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
You're watching Belmont Park Live, but that's a look at Kentucky Downs and, of course, Miss Temple City getting back into the winner's circle there as the 4-5 heavy favorite, just narrowly defeating the likes of the 4 Zypessa, but a big, important win for Miss Temple City as she continues on towards her fall campaign.
Great to see her get it back together. And we'll see if Graham takes another shot. Would he go against the fillies and mares in the First Lady, or will he try the boys again in the Shadwell?
She's got an amazing resume, doesn't she? 12 for 18, now 13 for 19 in the money, 7 wins, beaten the boys a couple times, got to go overseas. Pretty good mare.
She definitely has taken her talents to many different places, that's for sure. And one of those horses who did the same thing was Run Happy. Belmont Live is brought to you by champion sprinter Run Happy. Run Happy won at 6 different tracks, scoring on both all-weather surfaces and dirt surfaces, all while racing 100% drug-free. Undefeated in sprint competition, Run Happy set the stakes record in the King's Bishop and set the record at Keeneland, winning the 2015 Breeders' Cup Sprint. He's now standing at Claiborne Farm, one of the many tremendous stallions on their roster. We'll get to the post parade here, and of course, the one-team colors sets us up, trained by Jimmy Jerkins.
Can he bounce back from his poor performance off a layoff at Saratoga last time?
Oh, the 2 Vision Perfect will look to stretch his speed today, trained by Jason Service.
The scratch of the 5 helps this horse out a ton, and you look at the record of Belmont, 3 of the 4 wins here.
Christophe Clement sends out the 3 Black Type, ridden by Joel Rosario today.
Been an unlucky horse in a lot of races and run too well to have too few wins recently, a player.
And, of course, the famous silks of Ken and Sarah Ramsey. They send out the 4 Camelot Kitten for Chad Brown.
5 for 12 lifetime, and he likes to make it close. All 5 wins by a combined length.
Taking a look at the 6 Patentar for Dave Jacobson and ridden by Paco Lopez.
California horse, first time in the Jacobson barn, brings a little bit of speed to the party, but I think a little bit overclassed here.
Look for this horse to be closing from off of the pace. That is the 7 Highland Sky for trainer Barkley Tagg, already with a winner today.
I like the cutback in distance, but will he get enough pace to close into?
And that could be the same question for the 8 Revved Up, as he'll be closing from off of the pace for trainer Shug McGahee.
Hit the nail right on the head, Gabby. The cutback is the key, but the horse is in good form. I'm surprised. Not a lot of money at the window, though.
Chad Brown sends out another one, and that is the 9 Night Prowler. Javier Castellano will ride.
Maybe a cut below the best here, but his tactical speed gives him a chance.
And a long shot to cap off the field is the 10 Weekend Express.
Yeah, 41-1 with Junior Alvarado aboard. Comes off a 3rd place finish in Oceanport, New Jersey at Monmouth.
All right, well, the 4 Camelot Kitten is your lukewarm favorite right now at 2-1. Did you guys think that he might have been a shorter price, or do you think that this is fair?
I think it's a fair price. In fact, I could argue it's a little low. I mean, he's a nice horse, but his resume, I think, makes him look better than he is. I'm not knocking him. He's a very good horse. He finds the winner's circle. He wins photos. But a horse that kind of overachieved last year with so much earnings might look like he's better than he is. Is that fair? I'm not trying to knock him. I'm just trying to say he's running against stakes quality horses. This is a stakes quality allowance race.
It is a stakes quality allowance race. And when you look at his PPs, he's beaten Beach Patrol a couple times. I think Beach Patrol finally broke through, winning the Arlington Million, and deserved it. You're right. He doesn't like to win his races by a ton. He just likes to fight you out. He likes to sort of make it, close. He loves it. He loves the fights.
Is he in traffic here? That's the question. Did he never get a chance to get out in the clear and make his run? Did he need a race? What was the situation here? I felt like he was just sort of buried in traffic.
Well, he's buried in traffic. He's never really driven. I mean, listen, the sticks hit there. What's really going on? Not much, because he really had nowhere to go. And then you can see he sort of backs off him late, does Irad Ortiz. So I wouldn't take anything out of it. You know, the thing that worries me a little bit is that being out in California so long, Andy, the horses that came out from here on the turf dominated. Other way around when they come out here, dirt. When he went over to California and threw in a dud, it worried me a little bit. Obviously, something went amiss, and he went to the sideline. He probably is going to fire a shot today, but he's got to fire a big one, or at least get back into form.
Yeah, I wouldn't take him at 2-1. I think he's a major player in here. I like a horse that you mentioned a little bit, Vision Perfect, because of the scratch. And at the end of the day, I'm a Highland Sky fan. Now, the reality is, maybe it's time to admit I'm just wrong about him. And the problem is he's constantly pace compromised, but at least he's 9-2. And He's pace compromised. Isn't Camelot Kitten pace compromised
yes,
as well?
100%. They all are in here. And listen, the 6 is the key in this race because if the 6 decides not to go, which probably won't happen with Paco Lopez, the 2 could get away. But here is Highland Sky wide the whole way and, you know, lugging in a tiny bit. But once he got clear from that other horse, he really starts to straighten out, and he finishes out very strong. And, you know, if he runs this race, does it put him there? Yeah, I think it does.
I also think that cutting back in distance might accentuate his closing kick a little bit more. And I'm hoping Regime Mirage can find some position because I'm not sure he's as slow as his races suggest. Sometimes he's had gait issues, but I'm hoping that Raj can find a way to get him, you know, maybe 4th early.
But you see the way he grinded in that 1.25 mile race? I would think he's going to kick a little bit more at a 1.16 miles, you know?
I'm hoping.
He's another horse, too, Andy, we were talking about earlier, that has a tendency to maybe lug in a little bit during the stretch, and that could be because of the longer distances. Maybe he is a horse that just prefers a cutback.
We'll find out. Now, you say about the cutback with the 7, we're talking about it. Well, is Vision Perfect a horse that's better off around 7 furlongs? And is the 2 Vision Perfect compromised by the distance, or can he overcome it because he might be the inside controlling speed?
Good question. I think the horse is not a 1.16 mile horse, but today could be, you know, because sometimes you take these things and you look and you're like, oh, can the horse get the distance? Well, if the horse only has to run 5 furlongs because they let him run the other 6 furlongs very slow, he's going to win the race. Again, if the 6 doesn't show speed in here, that horse on the screen is going to be very tough to catch.
Well, he is the fastest horse early, and I think it's up to Manny Franco to understand that.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons he was as successful as he was at Saratoga was being aggressive. And if he gets away, and these, you see are slow fractions because of the dog leg and the nature of it. A 25-2 on this course is like 24 in another one. But if he gets away with a 25 first quarter, as you say, now it's 6.5 furlongs to the wire, he's in front and he has an advantage. So is it really a route?
Can he go 25, though? I mean, like, he's fast, so fast. Like, if Manuel's able to, you look at his fractions, he's never gone that slow.
He's never been
life.
in the inner going a mile.
Yeah, it's true. So, I mean, how fast do you think that he has to go to win the race?
We'll see.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that he gets to control up in the front end. That'll give him his best chance.
Well, it's a good question. We'll talk about maybe some other speed types in here first, but the 8 revved up. Definitely not a speed type, and this is another one, guys, who could be pace compromised.
I think you have to view this race as a prep for the 1 1/8 Knickerbocker on Columbus Day, and I think Shug wants to find out, is he a horse that needs more ground, point for the Red Smith, or can he win a race like the Knickerbocker? So he's taking a shot here.
I actually liked him. I really did. I liked him off this backtrack, and he's getting no money at the window at 8-1. And I think the pug may have it right. The more I look at it now, I might have made the wrong selection. And just the 1/16 might not be there. And if the 2 and 6 don't go at it early, he's really going to be in trouble.
You know, maybe a reason to tap the brakes right now. Pretty cold on the tote board at 8-1. But the 7 Highland Sky, well, can Barkley Tag get 2 wins today, Maggie?
I think he can, given what I'd seen from Highland Sky in the paddock. Gabby, I said it, and then even more on the track. He certainly stamped it and sent it in for me. He looks fantastic. This is maybe the best I've seen him look. He's gotten to breeze up at Saratoga on the turf track up there. I think that helps a horse out a lot, being able to continuously train on the surface that they run on and they prefer. And Andy, you absolutely took the words out of my mouth. I was thinking that a 1/16, it might accentuate that kick instead of being that he's not that grinding type. He has that fast turn of foot where I think this kind of distance, you know, makes it easier for him to get the win. Gabby.
Thanks, Maggie. Well, it is kind of a theme in this race that there are a lot of horses who could be pace compromised. Obviously, the 2 Vision Perfect is going to be the main speed. But of any other horses that could be tactically positioned, who do you think could at least keep him honest on the front end?
Well, if the 2 wants the lead and they ride as though they want the lead, nobody. No, I'm not saying that means he's going to win. It's going to go a little faster. I think the 9 Night. I think that the Night Crawler. I want Night Prowler is going to be closer if somebody's closer.
Maybe
That's
the
who I
6,
think.
and maybe the 1
sneaky.
sneaky.
All right, with the 4, Camelot Kitten taking another late punch at 9-5. He is your favorite as they load into the gate, and as we send it up to Larry Colmus for the call.
Weekend Express will be the last one to go in. Camelot Kitten at 9-5 on the board as Weekend Express takes up the outside stall. They're all in line, ready for a start. They're off. And Patentar got in a bit of traffic there. As they leave that chute, the leader is Vision Perfect. Vision Perfect by a length and a half early on. Black Type settles into stride, runs in second as they go to the backstretch. Weekend Express follows in third. Team Colors is fourth, Camelot Kitten fifth on the outside. And then it's Night Prowler, followed by Patentar down toward the inside, about 6 lengths off the lead. Revved Up's at the back with Highland Sky. The first quarter's up in 26.29 seconds, so the pace very slow here, set by Vision Perfect and Manny Franco. They're out there a length and a half to Black Type. Weekend Express is third on the outside. Team Colors follows fourth along the inside. Camelot Kitten held up behind them, 5 lengths off the lead. And then comes Patentar inside of Night Prowler. Revved Up and Highland Sky at the back as they continue up the backstretch through a 50.81 half mile. Racing for the turn, Vision Perfect is the leader. Black Type edging up on the outside closer. Weekend Express is third to the outside of them. Team Colors is fourth. Camelot Kitten fifth on the turn, still in hand here. 4.5 lengths off the lead. The Night Prowler on the outside. Patentar, Highland Sky, and Revved Up, and they're coming toward the top of the stretch. And it is still Vision Perfect trying to take them all the way here. Turning for home in front. Black Type a length and a half behind, coming to the final furlong. Camelot Kitten being asked for his best run, third on the outside. But as they come to the 16th pole, it is still Vision Perfect. Black Type bearing down on the outside. Second, Night Prowler is coming too, as is Highland Sky on the far outside. It is Black Type in front, close to home, and Black Type's gonna do it. Black Type the winner, tight second there between Highland Sky and Night Prowler, and Camelot Kitten ends up fourth in 142.47.
Well, Black Type getting the victory there and perfectly positioned as we saw it unfold as we predicted the two. Vision Perfect making the lead, just could not sustain.
Vision Perfect couldn't get the distance, and Joel Rosario put the winner where he had to be. Nice ride, nice performance.
It really was a perfect trip. Joel rode this race like he was in second and took the gamble that the two wasn't going to get the distance, and it paid off. And the two just crumbled a little bit late. Looked like he was going to give some resistance, but Black Type deserved this win. He's had a ton of trouble his last 4 or 5 starts.
Of course, we did see that cavalry charge coming late, but the 3 Black Type made the first move into the pace and wound up with the W. We'll come back with Winner Circle and prices after this, but for now, you're looking at the 3 Black Type, the winner of race 9.
Make NyraBets your home for online horse racing and betting. Start earning your sign-up bonus right now. With NyraBets, you can use our state-of-the-art website to bet on live horse racing at over 200 tracks around the world. Bet anywhere, anytime, using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Build your bankroll with our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up now at NyraBets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus now. NyraBets, racing's best play.
Welcome back to Belmont Park Live as we'll take a look at the winner here, the 3 Black Type walking into the winner's circle for Christophe Clement and Joel Rosario aboard for the win. And this is a horse who hasn't managed to put a lot. Welcome back to Belmont Park Live, and the 3 Black Type will be walking in to get his win picture taken for trainer Christophe Clement, and it's taken a while for this horse to get into the winner's circle, but a big win today.
It feels like today was a day for some horses who've been getting unlucky to get to the winner's circle. Vagabond, who've been unlucky or won earlier in the card today, and now this horse Black Type, who, as you said, Paul, should have won the Makers 46, a grade 1 earlier this year. A well-deserved win.
It really was a well-deserved win. Congratulations to Jump Sucker Stable here. This is a son of Dunkirk, not the one that we know, another Dunkirk.
Right.
Over in France out of the Naba Mare Theory. Now 8 for 27 lifetime. Good job by Christophe Clement.
Absolutely there in a perfect trip, ridden by Joel Rosario, just sitting right off the pace. And you make a good point. We saw a couple of horses kind of revitalize their form. You can just see it by the prices that we have showcased in the late pick 5, of course. That big one in 46.80 of Queen of Spades.
I'm looking at a parlay that right now is over $4,000, so I'm going to be very curious to see how many horses are covered here. There will be carryovers in this race, Paul.
I would think so. I would think there's some carryovers.
All right. Well, standing by with the winning connections, we go down to Maggie Wolfendale.
I'm here with Christophe Clement, and, okay, we'll get to Black Type here, Christophe. A horse who had been a little unlucky as far as racing luck is concerned. He got a beautiful ride today by Joel Rosario.
Correct. He had a great trip, and he's a nice horse. Great trip, and he won, and I'm delighted. And he belongs to a wonderful group of owners, so life is good.
Who weren't here? I was a little remiss not to see them. But as far as future plans with this horse, does this set him up nicely for possibly a try in the Knickerbocker?
Yeah, no, very much so. It's the obvious race coming up. And, the horse is doing well at Belmont. He trains well there. So we just have, that would be the plan at the moment.
Christophe, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
All right, Gabby.
Thanks very much, Maggie. I want to know, it was so funny. Christophe and Maggie were laughing. We don't have that much fun up here.
I
We
know,
have fun
right?
up here. Speak for yourself. I'm having fun.
I have a lot of fun as well, but congratulations to that man right there, Christophe Clement, getting Black Type in the winner's circle and pointing for some stakes action coming up.
He feels like they owe him one at Keeneland. He's got to be thinking about the Shadwell. The one is the only horse not covered the Naira
I don't want to upset you, but he was a little bit better dressed than both of us today.
Once again, speak for yourself.
All right. Well,
I'm now not having fun.
We're going to be signing off here in just a moment. But if you want to catch the action of the last race at Belmont Park, you can, of course, go to NYRA.com/now and go to NYRA Now as well. Download that app. It's available on many different devices, and it is all for free. Well, going back to the Seattle Slew Stakes, it was a potent field of 4, and we saw Securities get the better of them all. Jockey Manny Franco was in the saddle for the win in a very interesting race as well. And coming up tomorrow, we'll be bringing you the Allied Forces along with plenty other action. So stay tuned. Good night, everybody.
As they leave that chute, the leader is Vision Perfect. Vision Perfect by a length and a half early on. Black Type settles into stride, runs in second as they go to the backstretch. Weekend Express follows in third. Team Colors is fourth, Camelot Kitten fifth on the outside. And then it's Night Prowler, followed by Patentar down toward the inside, about 6 lengths off the lead. Revved ups at the back with Highland Sky. The first quarter's up in 26.29 seconds, so the pace very slow here, set by Vision Perfect and Manny Franco. They're out there a length and a half to Black Type. Weekend Express is third on the outside. Team Colors follows fourth along the inside. Camelot Kitten held up behind them, 5 lengths off the lead. And then comes Patentar inside of Night Prowler. Revved up in Highland Sky at the back as they continue up the backstretch through a 50.81 half mile. Racing for the turn, Vision Perfect is the leader. Black Type edging up on the outside closer. Weekend Express is third to the outside of them. Team Colors is fourth. Camelot Kitten fifth on the turn, still in hand here. 4.5 lengths off the lead. The Night Prowler on the outside. Patentar, Highland Sky, and Revved Up, and they're coming toward the top of the stretch. And it is still Vision Perfect trying to take them all the way here. Turning for home in front. Black Type a length and a half behind, coming to the final furlong. Camelot Kitten being asked for his best run, third on the outside. But as they come to the 16th pull, it is still Vision Perfect. Black Type bearing down on the outside second. Night Prowler is coming too, as is Highland Sky on the far out.